Yo, 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 what is going on, my fellow cloners? I come here to show you part 3 of the Quest on Kalee MOC series Novelux collaboration. Now, before you continue, if you have not seen part 1 or part 2 of this MOC series, none of this would make sense to you. So, part 1 is down in the description below, and it's also on my channel. And part 2 is on the description below, and that's on Lieutenant Curious' channel, and Lieutenant Curious's channel, I'm sorry. Lieutenant Curious' channel is down in the description below as well. But a real quick review, warm-up of what happened. Part 1, the gunship crashed, they survived, they're walking. Part 2, they walk through a village, they get directions and all of that. Part 3 is right here, ba-bam. Now, this here is a lot to take in once you guys see it, but we will go over the storyline and everything. So basically, what I have depicted here is kind of like the outskirts of the main city. Now, the problem is, the Kalee are nomadic. They aren't stationed. They move around. They are tribal. So cities aren't a real big thing, but they do have the Kalee city, which is the capital of Kalee. And this is kind of like the outskirts. As you see, we have 3 shacks, 2 of which are modular, and we have a whole showdown scene here in the middle. But first, what I like to do is I like to go over the terrain. So why not go over the terrain? So basically the terrain of Kalee is jungly, very dense jungles, rainforests, and that. So here I just kind of have grassy all the way around. It's not elevated real high because it is a city and they did happen to put down some shacks. And I will go over in great detail the shacks and what's going on. My main purpose of this was to get a kind of a rundown look to it, kind of like I said, they're nomadic and they don't know how really to be civilized, so I have a feeling that their cities would look somewhat like this. So, what's happening, the storyline now, the clones were walking down the trail after they got through the village, and they walked for a few clicks, and then they came upon someone at the outskirts, which is this. And they're walking through, they're not trying to cause harm, because the Kalee, which are here, there's one in there, there's one there, and there's one there. The Kalee are quick to go to war. They like battle. And so they're walking through, and they see that they have guns, and they don't recognize them. So what does the guy do? He pulls a knife on the main guy, the guy with the GPS, because he looks the scariest, because he's got a backpack on with an antenna. So he grabs a hold of him and holds a knife to him, as you see. And so the instinct is, these clones get information, circle all around, and point the guns at him, which is freaking him out more. And as of right now, we don't know if the Kalee is going to kill him or not. This clone trooper right here, as you see, is stopping this Kalee from walking in and potentially causing more harm. And if you guys are wondering, why do they have this weird mask on? And it's because Kalee have this mask on. It's part of their tribal religion, and if they are seen without the masks, then they are either killed or ostracized. And so they don't want to be ostracized, so they get into these masks. As you see, every single one in this mini-mock has it. So let's go over the pathway here. The pathway, I wanted to get kind of a rundown feeling to it, which I think I got pretty well. Now, right here, you see that it isn't as dense as it is up here. It's because towards that way is the city. That's the city over here. And here is the entrance to the outskirts. And as you see, these are outskirts because they're pretty run down. This has got moss and mold growing on it. This is just overgrown, and that one's got dirt and stuff on top. This shack, by the way, is my favorite, and we'll go over, like I said, we'll go over the shacks real quick in a second. So yeah, this is the outskirts. You see the clone troopers have left footprints from the muddy pathway that they were just on, and they coming in here, and then like I said, I explained the storyline, and so that's the pathway. If you guys want a closer look, it's basically a lot of greebling of 2x2 tiles, 1x2 in various colors, and 2x2 in green. And I'm using my new favorite piece in most of my mini-mocks now, which is the 1x2 sand green, if you couldn't tell. So, like I said, the buildings are modular, everyone but this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my stand, and we're going to go over the first building, which is different than most. So as you see here, there's two shops kind of like in one. The roof can't come off, but there's two small that I can show you the detail without the roof coming off. So we'll start over here. Over here is kind of like voodoo stuff, kind of like voodoo dolls. Are that what they're called? I think that's what they're called. And as you see, there's no one in here, but the inside is very run down. And that I tried to get that look all the way around. As you see, the back, I wanted to get the rundown look. There's bullet holes throughout the top, along with that one. On this side, we have kind of like the potion and all of that. So there's different potions. And this back here can get removed off of the shelf. And here's a bunch of different bottles of potions, because I feel tribal would be into that stuff. The roof is very overgrown. It's got a bunch of leaves on it. That's because it's underneath this tree, and the tree like drops seeds onto it or something when the leaves are dying, and it just grows on top. And it simply just connects to this. And like I said, we can move these around. These two I can switch. This one is stationary. I didn't think about making it modular when I did it. Here's the back side of it. As you see, there's just a bunch of crates, a bunch of potions, and voodoo doll, and all that stuff. Here's the back side of it. And then here's the tree with the back side of that. Alright, put you down, and we're going to get out the second hut, which is my favorite. Now, this one, if I can remove it without the guy falling in there, I will take the roof off of. Alrighty. This one I have kind of like selling ivory, but it's not ivory because ivory obviously is elements, and that's in like an earth thing. But this is kind of selling something that's illegal from an animal. The roof, this is what the roof looks like. I'll take it off here in a second. Here you see we have like these chains. Focus. There's the tusks of some creature that we don't know of. We have the Kalee in there. We have a crate you can see in the back corner, and we have leaves growing off of it. This is probably the most high-tech one because it's actually got a... Ooh, that's bad. It's actually got like a guard rail so no one can get in and steal it. On the back, we have this ventilation type thing. Now, I don't exactly know what it is because the Kalee aren't very technically advanced, like I said, because they're nomadic. So I'm sure this is supposed to be fire, by the way. This is supposed to be some type of like air conditioning unit, but it's spewing out fire. I don't exactly know what it is. I just thought it would look cool. So if you go around, there's that. If I take off the roof, hopefully the roof I didn't make real modular. So here's the inside. As you see, we have the Kalee. If I take out this down, you guys can see how they're made. General Grievous, by the way, was a Kalee, and then he died. Well, he got in an accident, and there was a crash of two fighter starships, and the CIS found him and trained him and made him a robot. And his masks on his robot is made to symbolize the Kalee mask, so he isn't banned from his home planet. So that was the inside of this hut, which this hut, like I said, is my favorite. If I can place this down. And yet again, it is modular, so you guys can watch. It is on that jumper plate. All I do is move it, and I place it down on that jumper plate, and I can move it accordingly because of the tiles. Here, as you see, we have a crate of more of those tusks of some sort, and we even have a, focus, we even have a black one, which he needs to stand on guard because the black one is the rarest one. So if we come around, you see that this Kalee here is more pimped out. He's got a homemade rifle he's made. My hands are very shaky, I'm sorry. Homemade rifle that he has made, and he's walking towards the kind of scene in the middle because he wants to figure out what's happening, and we have this clone trooper stopping him. So now, we're on to the last shack, the hut This one is my second favorite. I'll show you the back here in a second. This is a weapons dealer. He is selling weapons, as you see. He's in there, he's sitting on a chair, and I'll take the roof off later. But you can see he's not keeping really good care of it because there's moss and stuff growing on it. These crates here, these like grills, I don't know exactly what they're for. I just thought it would look good for aesthetics. See, we have a weapon out that he's displaying. He's showing how this one works, and then he's got the weapons you can buy on the back. And he's just sort of chilling, kind of yelling at this clone to not touch his property and to let him kind of like, stab him and kill him because he feels unsafe. I'll show you the back and then the interior. So in the back we see we have more crates. This yellow one has explosives in it. And then we got normal crates. We have moss growing on the back. Try to get somewhat of a natural look. And then here we have some ammunition. These are like battery packs. They're not magazines and they're not clips. And yes, there's a difference between magazines and clips. But this is more kind of like a battery pack, which are what the DC-15S's and A's are run on. Now these are a little bit bigger because, the Kalee aren't technically advanced as the rest of the world, rest of the universe. Alright, so if I take off the roof here, we can get a better look in the interior. The interior is tiled. There's the gun rack, and then the chair here. Move that. Very simple chair, and the chair is designed so that he is elevated off of the ground so that he can be level with the table. And there's that. And I put the roof back on, and we can get right back into the outro and what's coming up next. Alrighty guys, so that was part 3 of Kalee. Oh, real quick, I forgot to do an overhead shot so you guys can see the entire thing in its entirety. That is that. So tell me guys, tell me down in the description below what you guys think of this mock, and which one is your favorite so far, part 1, 2, or 3. So, like I said, that is that, and part 4 of the Quest on Kalee is coming out in 2 weeks, so not next Friday, but the next one, and that will be on Lieutenant Curious's channel. The schedule is down below, along with part 1 and part 2, the Quest on Kalee playlist, and Lieutenant Curious's channel. Make sure you go check out Novalug on Instagram and Clone Production Studios on Instagram, both of which you can find behind the scenes. On mine, you can find behind the scenes of everything I'm building. On the Novalug, you can find behind the scenes of what Novalug is doing. And also, Lieutenant Curious's channel, Instagram, it's broad and it's all of his behind the scenes. So make sure you go check out those. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. I want to thank you guys one more time for 100 subscribers, and that Q&A is coming out soon. But I won't keep you guys for real much longer, so I want you to have yourselves a very nice day. And this is Clone Production Studios, also Lieutenant Curious, which is not here, but will be, signing off.